हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम एंड वेलकम बैक टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ हैप्पी चर्प. आज मेरे पास एक बहुत ख़ास मेहमान है एंड आई हैव नोन हर फॉर क्वाइट अ वाइल, लेकिन सिर्फ ऑनलाइन, हमेशा ऑनलाइन बात हुई है, इंस्टाग्राम डीएम्स पर या व्हाट्सएप पर, कभी मुलाकात नहीं हुई. बट मेरे पास आज हैं कंवल, जो कि सोल सिस्टर्स पाकिस्तान की फाउंडर हैं और इन्होंने 2013 में ये कम्युनिटी स्टार्ट की थी which has changed the lives of many, I believe. So we're going to be talking to her about that. Hi Kanwal, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited. जब मुझे पता चला that you're coming to Islamabad, I was like, मुझे नहीं पता, even if Kanwal says that she can give me time at 2 a.m. in the morning, I will be ready to shoot this with you.
No, I'm so glad, honestly, that you invited me.
Basically, Kanwal is here because she has her own show, I think, right?
Yeah.
Conversations with Kanwal, where they have conversations with a lot of people and bring out their stories as well.
Absolutely.
So she was shooting here in Islamabad and I got a hold of her. How's your shoot?
It's extremely hectic. I think I'm sure you know this because you also create content, but it takes every ounce of your energy and sometimes even 15-16 hour shoot days to create like 2-3 minutes of content.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty hectic, but this is what I enjoy doing. This is what I'm passionate about. So obviously I'm also enjoying that process a lot.
Well, it's part of it. वो भी
Yeah.
होता है कि it comes with its stuff, but it's something you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. So सोल सिस्टर्स पाकिस्तान, ये कब शुरू किया और क्यों?
So Soul Sisters was started in 2013.
ठीक है.
उससे पहले मैं चला रही थी एक मेकअप का ग्रुप that a lot of people don't know about.
I did not know that. अच्छा.
It was a beauty and makeup group. Facebook पे था, उसका अपना एक website भी थी called madelyandmakeup.com और the group was called Karachi Salons Explorer. And what we used to do on that group was that we used to do salon reviews. और फिर उस पूरे process में I got so much into enjoying beauty and products and all of that I became a makeup artist. So yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like these things a lot of people don't know. So I did like, a couple of courses abroad. मैं दुबई गई, मैंने वहाँ से course किया, एक पाकिस्तान से course किया. I did a couple of courses and then I started doing like freelance makeup as well as makeup classes, ठीक है? And that was going really, really well for me. Like मैं उस ज़माने में बहरीन में रहती थी. I was newly married. I used to come like once a month to Karachi. 2 घंटे की फ़्लाइट होती थी. And मैं पहले से अपने clients भी पूरे हफ्ते के बुक कर लेती थी. 2 दिन मैं अपनी classes रखती थी makeup की. But when I started doing makeup and, the bride would sit on the makeup chair, तो काफ़ी intimate बातें होती हैं. I mean, I'm sure you've been a bride and, your makeup artist is literally the last person you speak to before you go to your wedding hall. So, जो bride की nervousness होती है, जो उसके thoughts होते हैं, वो सब बाहर निकल के आते हैं. And during that process, also because I was a young adult who just gotten married, तो मेरे भी बहुत से ख्यालात थे, मैं भी बहुत सी चीज़ें एक्सपीरियंस कर रही थी और उन ब्राइड से बात करके और फिर जो ग्रुप पे बातें होती थी, because see if you're talking about makeup and शादी and this and that, तो issues भी आते हैं, right? People talk about के कल मेरी शादी है, ये इशू हो गया, मैं क्या करूँ? So the conversations were already starting to stray off topic a little bit.
Right. वो ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम सोल्यूशन
हाँ शुरू हो गई थी बातें, राइट? कभी किसी का कुछ फाइनेंशियल इशू आ जाता था कि मेरा ये मसला है, वो मसला है. सो दिस वन डे कम्प्लीटली आउट ऑफ द ब्लू आई वाज लाइक या ये ग्रुप मैनेजर ने इन बातों के लिए नहीं बनाया है. लेट्स मेक अ न्यू स्पेस एंड लेट्स टॉक अबाउट थिंग्स देयर. बिकॉज मुझे समझ आ गया था कि औरतों के पास ज़्यादा जगह नहीं है बात करने की. A lot of us don't have the privilege of having very understanding families. And even if you do have an understanding family or friends, when you're talking to someone about your problems, there's always like a bias. Because they know you personally. They can never speak from a third person's perspective and tell you कि देखो, I'm looking at this from a very unbiased
objective
point of view, right? तो उसमें हमेशा एक personal सी चीज़ आ जाती थी. So I just made the group. इतना randomly मैंने वो group बनाया था हमना कि मैंने उसका नाम भी सोचने की जहमत नहीं की थी. I took the most like Soul Sisters Pakistan, like literally just the most randomest name and I made it. And of course, the second I started it, I posted a lamba sa post about my own thoughts about something. I don't even remember. I think it was something around partnership and just being partners to each other in marriage and blah blah blah. इस तरह से मैंने कोई post लिखा था. उसके बाद जो conversations शुरू हुई हैं, people were literally talking about every and anything under the sun. Because even though there was just 5,000 women on that group, those conversations were being talked about by thousands of women outside of the group.
Yeah.
एक वो बज़ शुरू हो गई थी, लोग शादी पे बैठे होंगे लाइक यू नो, एंड आपने सुना है उस ग्रुप के बारे में, देयर इज दिस ग्रुप कॉल्ड सोल सिस्टर्स एंड दीज गर्ल्स डिस्कस एवरीथिंग ऑन द प्लैनेट. दे टॉक अबाउट लाइक इवन you know, marriage things and things that you shouldn't talk about.
Yeah, lots of taboo things.
And that just got a lot of people curious. So obviously हमें request भी बहुत ज़्यादा आती थी. And that's where the journey actually began. And I just, like, at that point, मेरा बस mind में एक ही चीज़ थी कि I want a space where I as a woman could go to whenever I have something that I want to share or something that I want to discuss. Because as much as I have the privilege of having friends and a family, फिर भी ज़रूरत पड़ती है. And imagine the people who don't have that. You know, there's absolutely no space. At least for me, there was no space in this country, physical or online, where I could go to. So that's basically where the journey started.
Yeah. And it's so funny you said this कि लोग इस तरह बात करते हैं, because that's exactly how I found out about soul sisters. I remember that, I don't remember the story, but I was just sitting with a friend and one of my friends said कि यार वो मैंने ना एक पेज है सोल सिस्टर्स ना, वहाँ पे मैंने बड़ी वो कोई हौ है किस्म की कहानी है, लाइक उसने मुझे इस तरह के बताया तो मुझे उसने इस तरह के बताया कि बड़ी हौ है कि कोई कहानी थी. एंड आई वाज जस्ट लाइक उस वहाँ पर ये डिस्कस हुआ और बेसिकली देन दैट कॉन्वर्जेशन वाज अबाउट कि यार लोग कितने अजीब अजीब होते हैं दुनिया में और लोगों के साथ बेसिकली क्या क्या होता है. इट वाज मोर अराउंड दैट कि क्या क्या हो रहा है लोगों के साथ. सो देन आई वाज लाइक अच्छा मुझे तो नहीं पता, लाइक आई हैड नो आइडिया अबाउट दिस पेज. मुझे कहा मैं तुम्हें वो ऐड कर दूँगी. एंड आई थिंक दैट्स द फर्स्ट प्रॉपर कोई कम्युनिटी पेज जो मैंने ज्वाइन किया था. मुझे इस चीज़ का इतना कोई कॉन्सेप्ट भी नहीं था उस टाइम पे. So that's exactly how I found out as well. So I'm one of those people
who came from like these sort of conversations.
Stories. Yeah. So ये कौन सा साल था?
This when I created it, 2013 था.
2013 था.
2 साल से उससे पहले मैं already अपना वो मेकअप का और सारा वो चला रही थी. And even before that, I'd been a blogger for the last 10 years, like since 2003 onwards.
So you've always been like that online
writing stuff, sharing my thoughts,
right,
going crazy with everything. I was always like that sort of a person.
So did you think उस वक्त कि ये इतनी बड़ी कम्युनिटी बन जाएगी या इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट है? इम्पैक्ट की रियलाइजेशन थी? बिल्कुल भी नहीं. इसलिए मैं बता रही हूँ ना, मैंने तो नाम भी नहीं सोचा था, वरना मैं कोई अच्छा से ऐसा नाम रखती हूँ फिर उसको ट्रेडमार्क कराती. मेरा नाम मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है नाम सोल सिस्टर्स. इट्स वेरी नाइस. बट yeah, so फिर when and how, like obviously it started to grow, तो आप देख रही होगी कि ये तो बढ़ता जा रहा है. And I'm sure you were handling it all by yourself in the start as well. तो उसकी जो growth थी, उसकी journey कैसी थी? And when you realized the impact, how was that for you? Or do you remember a moment where you sort of realized that impact or anything of that sort, if you have to share? Yeah,
you know, and I'll say this for anybody who's online, when you create something, आप शायद इतना ज़्यादा fully understand भी नहीं करते what you've gotten yourself into. So when you're growing, you're also growing as a person. Your platform is growing and you're growing as a person. So for me, I'd embarked on this journey completely unknowingly. ठीक है, एक होती है हम सोसाइटी में रेज होते हैं, राइट, एंड we're conditioned to think certain things. We're raised a certain way. There's certain things we're told which might not even be right.
Right.
It takes a very long time to unlearn those things and to, you know, look at things differently. So for me, it wasn't just the realization कि मेरा group एक बहुत powerful चीज़ है, but also the fact that me as a person, I hold a lot of responsibility.
बिल्कुल.
And with that responsibility, you know, bearing that responsibility in mind, there were certain things that I had to unlearn. And that is, I think, a process that I've really tried to focus on in the past few years. जहाँ तक community की बात है, I think once the story started pouring in, once people started sharing their problems, and once they started getting solutions, that was the aha moment for me. One really amazing story on the community was when this girl posted that her maid's daughter was being beaten up in the village, and sorry, not daughter, sister. और विलेज में ना तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी थी ना कोई एक्सेस था, और उसका हस्बैंड उसे मार रहा था, उसके हस्बैंड के हाथ में गन भी थी, तो कोई भी गांव में से आता था उसे बचाने के लिए तो वो एरियल फायरिंग वगैरह करके भगा देता था. सो पोस्ट किया, आई डोंट नो व्हाट टू डू, माय मेट इज़ सो अपसेट, एंड लाइक क्या करें हम. And within the group, somebody knew somebody close by at the police station in the city nearby, and they sent someone overnight. उसको बचा के उस औरत को वो लोग शहर ले आए उसके बच्चों के साथ. These were moments that really defined to me the power of this community. Another time, a girl, someone posted a picture of this young girl. She had autism, and she was lost. उसके माँ बाप को वो नहीं मिल रही थी. So they posted a picture of that young girl कि ये मेरी पता नहीं रिश्तेदार की बेटी, and she's lost. If anybody sees her, please let us know. Another member who lived abroad, she recognized her through something. I don't know what happened. Ultimately, because this is very old, it's like a couple of years old. From within that group, that girl was found and brought back to her parents.
Yeah.
And this was like literally a goosebumps moment क्योंकि this girl did not even remember her right name. तो वो लोगों को नाम भी अपना गलत बता रही थी.
It was close to a miracle.
It was close to a miracle. And children being lost, छोटे बच्चे, it's just like I can't even, being a mother, I cannot even imagine a trauma, the trauma that parents go through. So when things like these happened from within the community, I realized कि यार ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है. What we can do and what we can achieve, the way people help out, even during this COVID time. Someone posted this one time कि my husband is stuck at this hotel where he works, और सारे रास्ते बंद हुए हुए हैं. बारिश का वक्त था, आई थिंक कराची में बहुत तेज़ बारिश हुई थी कि रोड्स फ्लडेड थे इस साल
अभी.
Yeah, and she was like they're flooded, he doesn't have any food. Within the community, a couple of people sent over food जो करीब में रह रहे थे. It's just like, it's something small maybe, but it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this community where people were coming together and just helping each other for what? What are they getting in return? Nothing, right? But they're also getting something, which is just this sense of gratitude and belonging, I would say.
Yeah, it's an entire support system.
Bilkul. And, even over the years when we've had our community events, some of the most amazing friendships have come out of those events. Because it's a sad fact, but it's true. Our country doesn't have so many spaces for women to come together, network, meet each other, find new friends. Especially when you get married. I've seen that women really do get isolated.
Yeah, they lose a lot of their existing friends, so let alone make new ones,
right? आप नए जगह चले जाते हो, नए ससुराल होता है, college friends lose out हो जाती हैं. Or if your friends are not married and you're in this new phase, it's very hard to connect with them over your issues.
Been there.
Yeah. So this like the fact that when मैं हमेशा ये बताती हूँ कि जब कोई भी लड़की सोल सिस्टर्स के इवेंट पे आती है तो अक्सर हमें मैसेजेस आते थे कि मेरी फ्रेंड को टिकट नहीं मिली, सिर्फ मुझे मिली, अब मैं क्या करूँगी इवेंट पे. सो व्हेन यू एंटर द SSP मीटअप, यू बेसिकली डोंट नो एनीबडी आउट ऑफ द 500 women that are there. But when you leave, you're in WhatsApp groups, you have new contacts, and you make so many lasting friendships. And this is what we need. We need women to be out there, to be networking, to be finding new connections. Aapko to pata hai, the power of networking is immense.
Yeah.
Right? You can manage to do so much if you have a good network and if you have good friends and if you have a good support system. So, yeah. I think that seeing the way people have interacted during events and the way they've, come out, the fana bhi recent March last year wala jo event tha, is saal to hum obviously koi kar nahi sake. Last year event mein these 5 women, they met each other and they messaged me later, like a few 6-7 months later, कि Kanwal, I want to send you something. तो मैंने कहा आपको मैं जानती हूँ. She's like, I'm on Soul Sisters. And last year in March, I came to your Karachi meetup and I met 4 other girls there. We became very good friends after that, to the point that we started a business together and we make certain customized food for people. And she said कि हमें Father's Day पे आपके father को कुछ भेजना है. And I was like, I'm really happy to hear the story that you guys started a business together. Like, that's, you didn't just become friends, but you also financially empowered each other, right? And then she said कि आप तो believe नहीं करेंगे, हम इतने close friends हो गए कि हम में से एक की जब मंगनी हुई है अभी recently, तो हम सब उसके घर पहुँचे. And we were all her, other friends thought कि हम इनके कोई रिश्तेदार हैं, जिस तरह से हमने पूरा अरेंज किया, हम उसको लेके आ रहे हैं पार्लर से, हम हर चीज़ करें. And nobody knew कि we just met a couple of months ago in a random Facebook group event. So, I mean, for me, these stories are everything.
Yeah,
this is my life.
Even the smallest of them. Yeah, because उनका impact बहुत बड़ा होता है. कोई, someone might say कि अच्छा हाँ 2 लोगों की दोस्ती होगी, what's the big deal? No, it is a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah, and it should be. You should be proud of yourself, Kanwal. Because मुझे ये भी पता है कि, like I said, a lot of people don't understand कि ये impact क्या है, कितना positive change एक relationship से, एक कहानी से किसके लिए कितना आ सकता है, किसके लिए कितना empowering हो सकता है. It can help, certain people take steps that can change their lives. So, and I know that everybody doesn't understand that. So how do you deal with that? Or I'm sure कि especially when you started, तो तब तो groups का इतना और community building वाली जो चीज़ होती है उसका इतना concept नहीं था.
Yeah.
तो how did you sort of stay focused on doing this or shutting that noise?
Yeah. It was really hard.
Yeah, thought so.
When I started Soul Sisters, मुझे literally हर दफ़ा रोना आता है जब मैं सोचती हूँ इस बारे में. But when I started Soul Sisters, like you said, groups का इतना concept नहीं था, बहुत कम groups थे, and they were mostly about very generic things like food and things like that. जब मैंने group start किया तो like I said, मुझे तो खुद नहीं पता था कि मैंने अपने आप को किस चीज़ में डाल दिया है, because the kind of topics that were going to come up, they were going to be controversial. आप जो भी कर लो, जब एक खानदान के WhatsApp ग्रुप पे भी इन चीज़ों के बारे में बात होती है तो फड्डे होते हैं. 4 बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स भी एक टॉपिक डिस्कस करती हैं which is around social or personal issues, तो फड्डे होते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
And here we had thousands and thousands of women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was somebody who was also very young. I was like in my mid-20s. बहुत सी चीज़ें मैं खुद सीख रही थी. And then to manage conflict, to manage warfare basically on the group, inside of the group and then outside of it also. मुझे याद है कि मेरे ग्रुप से अच्छा होता ये भी था कि ग्रुप पे जो भी बात हो रही है ना, अल्टीमेटली नाम मेरा ही लगना है. लाइक बात कोई और कर रहा है लेकिन उसका स्क्रीनशॉट जब हर जगह रिलीज होगा तो इसमें लिखा क्या होगा कि कंवल के ग्रुप में ये बात हो रही है. So what ultimately would happen is that Soul Sisters became me and I became Soul Sisters. So then I was not just Kanwal, I was also 20,000 or 40,000 उस time जो भी amount था, I was also those 40,000 women, right? And even one comment could be used against me, and it wasn't just used once or twice, it was used thousands and thousands and thousands of times. In Facebook groups, on different platforms, I have been relentlessly bullied. And it was really hard for me because, even as a teenager, I've been bullied quite a bit at school. So for me, it was very traumatic to have to deal with bullying because, sometimes some things leave a lasting impression on you. And for me, this was one of those. तो अगर एक पोस्ट लगा हुआ है फेसबुक पे मेरे नाम से या मेरे ग्रुप के स्क्रीनशॉट से और उसके नीचे हज़ारों कमेंट्स हैं या 100 कमेंट्स हैं, एंड देयर ऑल saying random very not so nice things and then not really giving me an opportunity to present myself, तो मुझे बहुत मुश्किल लगता था. और फिर again I was the only one running a female only group. उस ज़माने में नहीं थे इतने सारे, वो 2016-17 के बाद बहुत स्टार्ट हुए हैं. बिल्कुल. तो I was the first entrant sort of thing, तो मुझे पूरा वो establish करना पड़ा. बाद में जो लोग आए, they didn't have to face the building up वाला जो एक
you pave the way, normalize करने वाली बात होती है, जो चीज़ पहले लोगों ने नहीं देखी तो जो पहले करता है उसको लोगों के लिए normalize भी करनी पड़ती है वो चीज़.
मुझे याद है कि मैंने एक दफ़ा कुछ like television commercial किया था, and I was like उस ज़माने में there were not so many digital people, right? So digital stars. So when I did the television commercial, a lot of people were like, उस पे भी शुरू हो गए कि ये क्यों, इसकी क्या औकात कि ये काम कर रही है, you know, what is the value of her face, blah 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 blah. और मुझे हर बात बहुत बुरी लगती थी. It used to hurt me so much. मैं रोती थी. एक दफ़ा मुझे you know, I even started getting panic attacks for a while because मुझे बहुत stress होता था. I used to think that this is happening because I deserve it or because I've done something wrong. And then my husband Anas used to tell me कि Kanwal, you know, like when people say things that aren't true, it's not about you, it's about them.
Yeah.
लेकिन ये बात बोलने के लिए आसान होती है, जो बात जिसके साथ हो रही होती है उसके लिए वो डाइजेस्ट करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है.
You're human, you're gonna feel what you're gonna feel. Yeah.
And then, you know, I would seek advice from so many people कि मैं क्या करूँ, ये कमेंट आया, ये पोस्ट आया, मैं क्या करूँ. And, you know, some people would say कि ignore करो. कुछ लोग कहते थे तुम जवाब दो. और मैं बीच में अपने आप को ढूंढ रही थी. Because, like I said, I didn't have so many people to look up to. There was nobody who'd done this. So I didn't know what route they'd followed and what had they done right. And I couldn't follow like traditional, you know, big stars, like जो television stars, क्योंकि उन लोग का बिल्कुल एक different वो होता है.
Different.
Right? Dynamics. So that is something that, you know, बहुत मुझे time लगा to overcome it. And a lot of people don't know about how badly I've been bullied because I had never talked about it. एक दो दफ़ा तो बहुत severe हो गई थी bullying. I've like to the point that somebody made a Tinder account of me. 2016 में. And that Tinder account chatted with boys all night before my first ever meetup for Soul Sisters Pakistan. And I would get calls कि हाय तुमसे बड़ा अच्छा लगा बात कर. पूरी रात मुझे कॉल्स आती रही. यार मैं सोच रही हूँ कि यार मैंने तो कहीं नंबर भी नहीं डाला, ये तो नंबर कोई जानता भी नहीं है, क्यों आ रही है मुझे कॉल्स.
That's pure harassment, by the way.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what happened the next day? मैं जब अपने मीटअप पे पहुँची, उस वक्त 250 औरतें आने वाली थी वहाँ पे. मैं लिटरली इतनी स्ट्रेस थी. मेरी बेबी लाइक मिन्हा वाज लाइक अ फ्यू मंथ्स ओल्ड. नो, शी वाज अ ईयर ओल्ड. 2016 था. शी वाज अ ईयर ओल्ड. मैं उसको अपनी अम्मी के पास छोड़ के आई थी. एंड आई यूज्ड टू फीड हर. सो फॉर मी लीविंग हर फॉर 3 hours वाज लाइक अ ह्यूज डील. राइट? मुझे बस था 3 घंटे में इवेंट खत्म होगा, मैं सबसे पहले भागूंगी वापस बिकॉज ऑफ मिन्हा. मैं उसको छोड़ के आई हुई थी. व्हेन आई रीच्ड माई वेन्यू तो बाहर कुछ आदमी खड़े हुए थे. एंड आई वाज लाइक पता नहीं होंगे कोई काम वाले, लाइक यू नो दे probably here to fix lights or something like that. And then those men started going in and out of the venue. अभी तक लड़कियाँ नहीं आई थी. And मुझे कॉल्स आना शुरू हो गई कि हम पहुँच गए जानू, इस टाइप की. And I was like कहाँ? And they were like आपके रेस्टोरेंट के बाहर आज डेट है ना. And I was like shit. So like that person is following me so closely that he or she knows कि मेरा आज इवेंट भी है. मैंने अपना फ़ोन वो कर दिया साइलेंट पे. तो रेस्टोरेंट का वेटर आया मेरे पास और उसने बोला मैडम आपके लिए अंदर कॉल आई हुई है. तो मेरा पैनिक मोड हो गया. मैंने कहा मेरी अम्मी का फ़ोन होगा, मिन्हा रो रही होगी, कुछ हुआ होगा. आई रैन इनसाइड, आई पिक्ड अप द फ़ोन एंड दे लाइक अच्छा तुम मेरी मैसेजेस का जवाब नहीं दे रही, मुझे पता है तुम कहाँ हो. एंड आई स्टार्टेड क्राइंग. मेरे बाहर पार्टी स्टार्ट हो गई थी, लाइक द इवेंट इट स्टार्टेड एंड आई स्टार्ट क्राइंग. The owners of that restaurant, they were all 3 of them were female. So they came running कि क्या हो गया, you know, what's wrong? And I was like, you know, there are men outside, and what if they come inside and like they take me and they kidnap me and somebody's been talking. But my mind's inside.
Obviously, you're gonna think
everything
all
was
those
blurting out. I was like, this has happened. They're like, listen, you don't need to worry. We are here with you. Okay, we are your soul sisters as well. फिर मेरी एक और friend थी. She came running. She was like, what happened? And I told her कि you know this. She's a lawyer. She was like, तुम्हें बिल्कुल फिक्र करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Like I'm here. I'll call the police if need be. And they all tried to calm me down, but I was so scarred at that moment. मैं सोच रही थी कि मैंने ऐसा क्या किया. Like, what did I do to deserve this? Is it because I have a group of women? Or what is it? Like, what is it that has made someone go to this level, right? And I think I've shared it a couple of times on Facebook as well, like on my group, but I've never really spoken so much in detail about it. This is just a glimpse of what unfolded the years ahead. And I've not talked about it because you know somewhere I feel like कि कोई फ़ायदा शायद नहीं है. But then sometimes I also think that maybe I should talk about it a lot more so that people know that it's not been easy. It's been really, really, really hard.
Yeah. I'm sure it's been because I know I do have enough idea about you know what it's like to be you know, in the online community, especially when people don't understand the nature of your work, especially if you're one of the first few people to step into whatever it is that you're doing. But chalo, online though, people were not understanding and people were whatever bullying you, and that's very tough. What about people around you? How are they responding to? Because पता है क्या, like मुझे इस तरह होता है कि because इस तरह मेरे साथ भी हुआ, so I don't know if this happened to you as well, कि every time you would achieve something or get something, you would get to hear कि ये तो बस बैठ के ना पिक्चर्स लेती है. सो आई एम श्योर पीपल मस्ट हैव सेड ये तो बस बैठ के एक ऑनलाइन क्लिक कर रही है बैठ के, यू नो, मतलब पूरा दिन बस फेसबुक पे बैठी रहती है टाइप चीज़, राइट? सो वर देयर पीपल अराउंड यू सेइंग दैट ऑफलाइन? कैसा था? हाउ डिड यू डील विद दैट?
I mean, they didn't understand what my job was. They were like कि तुम करती क्या हो पूरा दिन, तुम अप्रूव और रिजेक्ट करती रहती हो, पोस्ट ये करती हो तुम पूरा दिन.
असल में people lack vision sort of, and I don't really blame those people because, you know, not everyone has been brought up in the same way, not everybody has the same experiences, or because ये unconventional है. People have done 9 to 5s and, you know, very conventional stuff. तो जब कोई out of the norm चीज़ होती है तो वो उनके लिए होता है. But I don't know what I was saying.
you were just sharing ke did people you know, say stuff.
Yeah. So did, like वो होता है ना, you feel the need to explain, you feel really shitty to the point where you want to quit.
Yeah.
Did you want to quit?
I think for a long time every day I wanted to. क्योंकि मेरे लिए ऑनलाइन वाली तो खैर बहुत ज़्यादा वो हो गई थी, unbearable. But for me it was much easier to cancel what people in real life were saying around me.
अच्छा,
मुझे उनसे कुछ फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा था.
ठीक है.
मैं थोड़ी ढीठ हो गई थी उस मामले में. लेकिन बिकॉज वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा यही बोलते थे ना कि अच्छा तुम्हारा फ़ायदा क्या है, तुम्हारे काम का क्या फ़ायदा है.
ऑफलाइन लोग इतना बोलते भी नहीं है जितना ऑनलाइन.
हाँ. और ऑनलाइन में क्या होता था कि जिसका जो दिल करे वो बोलता था. एंड दे लाइक इवन, आई मीन मैं क्या बोलूँ, इवन पीपल हु वांटेड टू वर्क विथ मी, जिनके मैसेजेस आते थे मेरे पास, वो भी बुराइयाँ करते थे. एंड आई वुड ऑफन वंडर कि यार लेकिन आपको तो मेरे साथ काम नहीं करना था, आप तो वो ही नहीं है. Like why are you saying this about me also? I'm sure you face that as well. It's really like awkward.
You need me, but you also think that what I'm doing is worthless.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, like what is this, right?
Yeah.
So ये होता था. बट हाँ, मेरे लिए ये वाली बात थोड़ा सा मैं कोप कर पा रही थी कि लोग तो करें भले बोलते रहें.
हाँ.
मुझे लेकिन जो बस ऑनलाइन वाली चीज़ थी वो मुझसे बर्दाश्त बहुत मुश्किल से होती थी. I used to find it very very tough. Yeah.
And all of this was after your marriage?
Yeah, I got married very early. Anas and I met in university. It was literally my first semester. मैंने आते ही like ना, Anas was like my in the third year. I was in the first year. And within 6 months, like we met through mutual friends. I was friends with his friends. He met me for the first time outside the school cafeteria. Typical like, you know, वो किताब पढ़ रहा था मैं. I was highly like irritating and talkative, and I was like, what book are you reading? इस तरह से हमारी बातचीत शुरू हुई. And then you know, he like proposed instantly. हमारी बिल्कुल एक बेसिक सी फ्रेंडशिप थी, टू द पॉइंट कि हम तो ज़्यादा मिलते भी नहीं थे स्कूल में. वी यूज्ड टू टॉक ऑनलाइन अ लॉट. और वो भी लाइक यू नो, उस ज़माने में जी चैट होता था, एक गूगल चैट. तो उस पर बातचीत होती रहती थी स्कूल के बारे में, और लाइक सम बुक्स दैट वीड बीन रीडिंग. देन दिस वन टाइम ही लाइक मैसेज्ड मी व्हेन आई वाज इन क्लास, एंड ही टोल्ड मी कि कैन यू कम डाउन, आई नीड टू स्पीक टू यू. तो मैंने कहा कि अच्छा ठीक है, बात कर लेंगे ना घर जाके या कुछ, अभी तो मैं क्लास में हूँ. तो इज़ लाइक ठीक है, कम मीट मी इन द ब्रेक टाइम. So I was like fine. I was like कुछ पता नहीं क्या, कोई प्रोग्राम होगा या कुछ इवेंट होगा, उससे बात करनी होगी. So I took a friend of mine along and I went. So then Anas was just like, can you ask your friend to leave? And I was like, why? कर लो जो बात करनी है. What's the big deal? And he was like, no, I really need to talk to you about something personal. And I was like, अच्छा ठीक है, जाओ चलो तुम. And then he was like, look, I really like you, and I think that you know, we should get married. And I was like, listen, like that is very sudden. I
Very
was 19
forward.
and I was like, that's very forward, like we hardly know each other, right? मैं तो like I don't even know that much about you, but I was like no, like listen, I don't think that this is going to work out. मैंने उसको काफ़ी bluntly बोल दिया, and he was a little bit offended. He was like just give it an opportunity, think about it. और जहाँ तक मैं अनस को जानती थी ना, उसकी फैमिली में कोई भी इतनी जल्दी शादी नहीं करता. like he was just 21. उसके सारे कज़न्स ने भी काफ़ी लाइक लेट 20s अर्ली 30s में शादी की है. आई वाज लाइक ये पता नहीं इसको क्या हो गया, इसके तो बिल्कुल ही अलग से है. मेरी फैमिली में अलबत्ता बहुत जल्दी शादियाँ हो जाती हैं बिकॉज वी आर मेमन. खैर, I went home and laughingly I told my parents that, there's this guy, he's my friend, and he said this today, ha ha ha. And my dad's like, so?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing about it? And, if he's such a good friend and you guys talk so often, so why not introduce us? And, we can help you, decide.
This is so unusual.
It is so unusual, right?
Yeah.
I did not expect this from my dad either, वैसे तो. But anyway, and I was like, really? Because, I wouldn't think that. And especially because we're Maimans, we, within my community, people, उस ज़माने में especially 10 years ago, अब तो मंगनी को तो खैर 12 साल हो गए, people like stay within the and Anas was Urdu speaking, so I was surprised that my parents thought otherwise. So they're like, let us meet him. So I was like, okay, I'll talk to him, and mummy can come with me and she can meet him. So my mom's like, ठीक है, उसको कल बोलो कि मॉल के फूड कोर्ट में मिल ले. And I messaged Anas that I'm really sorry about my response today, and let's meet in the food court tomorrow. My mom wants to meet you. And Anas was really offended, by the way. He was not happy with this. He was like, at least, but I was a kid at that time also, right? Like, mere mind mein, this was the first time this had happened. Right, the next day, my mom and him, they met at the food court. और Anas literally borrowed his friend's kurta. उसके लंबे लंबे बाल होते थे, उस वक्त उसने अपने बाल भी जेल बैक कर लिए, तो my mom would not notice कि उसके rock star बाल है. And they met, and my mom really liked him, and she said that he's such a honest and straightforward kind of a guy. So what's the issue? Let us meet his parents and let's talk it out. But where the parents met, and we instantly got engaged that same summer.
Acha.
Yeah, and
that was pretty smooth.
Yeah, very very smooth, alhamdulillah. We did not have
great.
any traditional issues. हमारे जितने भी functions थे, they were very quick. Foreign, like nikah हमारा 10 दिन में हुआ मस्जिद में, simple सा. हमारी शादी 10-15 दिन में तय हुई. वो भी एक ही function. Just within the next 2 years, we got nikah and then we got married.
Wow. So SSP happened after your shadi because you got married very quickly.
2010 mein, yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years after that. So how did your family take it? How would your in-laws take it? They were all supportive of SSP.
Yeah, I think शुरू में किसी को समझ नहीं आता था कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ.
Which is natural.
Yeah, Facebook और ज़माने में Facebook भी नया ही था. They were like कि क्या online पूरा वक्त. My mom and dad. And then eventually when SSP started to grow, my mom played a very big role in helping me, events mein, in keeping Minha. A lot of people think that nannies and dadis should take care of the kids, but I think that they're doing us a huge favor when they do that. Yeah. It's a lot of energy when you take care of a baby. So from giving me her house, कि उनके पूरा घर जो है नीचे वेयर हाउस बन जाता था जब इवेंट होता था. मेरे सारे जो टीम मेंबर्स और वॉलंटियर्स आना जाना कर रहे होते थे. गिव अवेज के डब्बे पड़े होते थे उनके पूरे ड्राइव वे तक. Everything, she wouldn't mind anything. She would be more than happy to accommodate everyone and everything. So that was, they definitely all tried to help. Of course, there were some things that they were not happy about, conflicting opinions. Obviously, a lot of things that I do are away from the very static norm of our culture. Yeah. And as the new generation, we think of a lot of things very differently. And I'm very vocal about my opinions as well. So, aksar wo log thoda sa, there is a lot of back and forth between me and my parents specifically. Ke they don't agree with a lot of things I say, and that's okay. They don't have to agree. We're two separate entities. A lot of people also think, everything that, your family members do should be attributed to you, but I don't think that's true. we're absolutely two different adults, different opinions. Yes, we're the same blood, but we do different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but my parents-in-law are also super supportive. Unko to, my father-in-law is very, very proud of Soul Sisters Pakistan.
Acha.
He every time, you know, someone comes over to visit as well, he's like telling them, oh, you know, she has a world famous group, and you know, batao beta kitne sare members hai usme. It's really cute. Yeah, but they're good with it.
So this is your full-time job, na?
Haan, 100%.
Is this your first job also? Yeah, have you done any conventional jobs as well, other 9 to 5 types? Kabhi ki?
No, I've never done a job. I've always done businesses. So when I moved out of, when I got married, I moved to Bahrain. That's the first place I moved to within a month of getting married. So when I got there, मेरे पास कोई काम नहीं था करने के लिए, so I went into real estate. मैंने नोटिस किया कि वहाँ पे जब कोई प्रॉपर्टी को रेंट आउट करता है तो उसको 50% ऑफ द फर्स्ट मंथ का रेंट मिलता है. एंड अनस वाज अर्निंग पीनट्स एट दैट टाइम. इट वाज हिज फर्स्ट जॉब. तो वो बिल्कुल हम हैंड टू माउथ थे. रहते भी हम एक छोटे से अपार्टमेंट में थे, सेकंड हैंड लोगों का लिटरली थ्रोन आउट फर्नीचर. हमारी वॉशिंग मशीन ऐसी थी कि उसका ऊपर ढक्कन भी नहीं था. वो कोई फेंक रहा था, अनस के कज़न के फैन, तो उन्होंने हमें दे दी थी. तो ये सीन था. ठीक है. खैर एनीवे, तो मैंने सोचा चलो मैं ये ट्राई करती हूँ. एंड देन यू नो आई वाज रियली एक्टिव ऑन फेसबुक, सो आई स्टार्ट यूजिंग फेसबुक टू प्रमोट द मेरी जो बिल्डिंग थी उसमें 3 अपार्टमेंट्स खाली थे. सो आई पुट देम अप, उनकी पिक्चर्स लगाई, अपना वो अपार्टमेंट की पिक्चर्स लगाई, एंड आई पुट इट अप फॉर रेंट. तीनों मैंने बिकवा दिए.
अच्छा.
सो देन आई टोल्ड माई लैंड लेडी के यू नो दिस इज़ द थिंग एंड दीज आर द पीपल हु वांट टू रेंट इट आउट. एंड शी वाज लाइक दैट्स ब्रिलियंट, वेल डन किड, हियर इज़ योर मनी. एंड यू नो आई स्टार्टेड डैबलिंग इनटू दैट थोड़ा बहुत. फिर उसके अलावा आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग दिस पर्सनल शॉपिंग की बिजनेस मैंने स्टार्ट कर दी थी.
अच्छा.
या सो आई वुड लाइक टेक ऑर्डर्स ऑनलाइन from people, and then I would make purchases for them, like if somebody is getting married, so they want like Victoria's Secret se pura ek, you know, XYZ lingerie ya perfumes, तो मैं उनके लिए shopping करती थी. Then I would charge a commission and you know ship it to them. This was back in, by the way, 2011. बहुत पुरानी बात है ये. But the point is कि मैंने job नहीं की, मैं बार बार different चीज़ें try करती रहती थी. कभी कुछ फिर eventually that makeup thing started in 2011 कि late, I think around end of 2011. तो वो स्टार्ट हो गया. तो उसमें फिर मैं हर मंथ कराची जाती थी, काम करती थी, फिर वापस आ जाती थी. सो या
so with the Soul Sisters Pakistan, it's like a business, right?
I would say it is it's a social enterprise.
Okay.
In a way. So we're doing impactful work, but it does bring in revenue, and through the revenue we're able to sustain the platform.
Yeah.
Because now it requires a team to run it.
Yeah.
It has several initiatives happening under it. So like if we have events, if we're doing video content, if we're creating, you know, online activations, there needs to be a team of people behind it. So yeah, so I would say it's more like a social enterprise.
Yeah.
So it's a revenue generating platform.
Yeah, and it's your main source of income as well, right?
Bilkul.
Your baby.
Yeah, definitely my first baby.
Yeah. So then Soul Sisters Pakistan was picked up by Facebook for I'm not sure what. So I want you to sort of explain that, you know, they chose this community, took you to Facebook. What was that like? What was that about? What did you learn? So yeah.
2018 में Facebook ने एक छोटा सा जो है ना वो लगाया हुआ था अनाउंसमेंट दैट यू नो वी वांट टू लर्न अबाउट पीपल हु आर यूजिंग फेसबुक्स प्लेटफॉर्म फॉर गुड.
ठीक है.
सो one of my friends, he tagged me on that post and he said that, you know, this is something that you should be looking out for. You know, you have a great platform. मैंने अप्लाई किया and मैंने लिटरली उसका एक दिन नेक्स्ट डे लास्ट डे था, मैंने बस जल्दी फॉर्म फिल किया and I applied it. It was a basic form, like, you know, your name, what your community is, what it does, any examples from stuff that they've done, blah, blah, blah. फिर उन्होंने मुझे इंटरव्यू कॉल के लिए बुला लिया. मैंने कहा अच्छा उनको फॉर्म अच्छा लग गया यानी. like
You had just done it.
I just like you know sometimes you just do things क्योंकि वो किसी ने टैग किया हुआ है and like you're like it होना तो है नहीं,
ट्राई कर लेते हैं.
हाँ, और होना तो है नहीं, इतने लाखों लोगों ने किया होगा. So they called me for an interview से मैं निकली तो मुझे लगा कि बहुत बेकार इंटरव्यू हुआ है. मैंने आती है ना उसको बोला यार इतना मैंने कोई क्रैप इंटरव्यू दिया है ना. And he's like, you're just saying that. Sometimes you think that, but it's not true. Don't be negative. खैर मैं बहुत नेगेटिव थी. उसके कुछ हफ्तों बाद फिर से उनका कॉल आई कि और इंटरव्यू करना है. More people want to meet you. So more people met me. Then at the same time, another friend of mine who applied, there are a couple of community leaders that applied. So we were all asking each other, तुम्हारा हुआ. So one of my other friends who applied, उसने मुझे बोला तुम्हारा कहाँ तक पहुँचा? And I was like, अच्छा मेरा third या second interview है. She's like, अच्छा हाँ मेरा भी है. और मुझे ये सवाल पूछे तो मैं ये सवाल पूछा. Like, we tally कि क्या हुआ है. फिर क्या हुआ कि they said कि अच्छा can you make a short video about your work and send that. तो मैंने वो भी भेज दिया. फिर उन्होंने कहा कि अच्छा फिर वो 1 महीने के लिए गायब हो गए. लाइक जुलाई के टाइम पे they were गायब. Then an email came कि ठीक है हम जो ना आपका if you like sign this form and we want to do a background check on you like through a third party. We want to see कि आपका records क्या है पाकिस्तान में. मैंने कहा कर लें, वो भी कर लें, जब सब कुछ कर लिया है तो वो भी कर लिया उन लोग ने. फिर वापस गायब हो गए. And then, till this point, I'd given like 3 interviews. I'd sent a video, consent form sign कर दिया था. तो अब थोड़ा hope आ गया था मेरे अंदर. मैंने कहा अब तो यार कुछ तो हाँ अब तो कुछ होना चाहिए. अच्छा काफ़ी दूसरे लोगों को रिजेक्शंस आ चुकी थी और मुझे नहीं आई थी. तो मैंने कहा कि यार अब रिजेक्शन आएगी तो दर्द भी बहुत होगा. Anyway, I remember अगस्त का महीना था. मैं कराची में थी, आई हुई थी जद्दा से कराची. And I was asleep. And around early morning, my other friend who was on the same stage as me messaged me, Kanwal, did you hear back from Facebook? And I was like, नहीं मुझे तो कोई email नहीं आया. तो मैं आ गया है ना, मुझे समझ में आ गया था इसका तो आ गया है. She was like, yeah, I got it. And I was like, really? Let me check my email. I refreshed my email and there was nothing. I was so heartbroken. मुझे खुशी थी उसके लिए लेकिन मेरा दिल
दुखता है ना.
I was like, we were at the same stage और मैं पीछे रह गई. Like this last, what did I do wrong? So then I was like, चलो मैं अपना last email check करती हूँ. मैंने कुछ गलत तो नहीं भेज दिया उसमें. So I typed Facebook in the search box and I clicked enter and the acceptance email came. It was in the spam. And I messaged her. I was like, listen, I also got in. Like, we're going together. And she was super happy, of course. बहुत खुश थी वो भी. And then I woke up my family and everybody was like, yaar, but what is this thing that you've applied for? Like, why are you so happy? वही वाला Facebook जिसपे तुम पूरा दिन बैठी रहती हो उसी की तरह से email आया है. And I woke Anas up and we went to my mom's house and I was like, Mummy, I'll have to go to the US like a couple of times this year and next year. So who will take care of Minha? Like that was the first thing on my mind, right? And Anas was like, you don't have to worry about it. मैं भी हूँ, मेरे पास रहेगी, like in Jeddah, and you can go. But then, that was where that journey started. And I went to the Facebook office for the first time in October 2018. So the program was such that they had chosen 105 community leaders from across the world who were running some of the most impactful communities on Facebook. So impact, measured impact. ये नहीं था कि उन लोगों ने ऐसे ही लोगों को उठा लिया, उन्होंने check किया proper. Yeah. And obviously Facebook has all the details of what our communities have been doing and what we've all been doing basically in our lives. So the group that they'd curated very carefully was out of this world. The kind of people I met there, the kind of interactions we had, and the way Facebook had made this program. Basically, the team that was assigned to create this program was like a brilliant set of people. I would say not just kind, but like empathy का जो word empathy है मैंने वहाँ जाके सीखा है. I've learned what it means to be kind and to be empathetic and to really evaluate yourself when you're leading a community. So I went there for the first time and जब मैं पहुँची वहाँ पे हम लोग check-in किए hotel से and we instantly had to go to a dinner. So when we went to the dinner, there was obviously a speech and when the woman she was talking about the speech, she was giving the speech, she was talking about harassment, especially to people who are online and who are leading vision, like a visionary movement. And she said, something of the effect of like, when someone is pointing a finger at you, the rest of the hand is a fist and a fist is stronger than one finger. और उस बात पे ना मैं रोने शुरू हो गई और सिर्फ रोने नहीं भैं वाला रोना. And I'm in a group of people I don't even know. And सब परेशान. Like everybody came there like, are you okay? Like, they were...
Because you could feel it.
I could feel it. For me, it was like the first time someone understood how I felt, right? And I felt like I was in a room where I belonged and where there were people around me who had also been where I was. Because, you know, the one thing, Humna, that happens online is that you feel alone. You feel like nobody is understanding what I'm going through. Because real life में कोई समझता नहीं है. And then to be around the people who are also going through that situation, for me, it was like, oh my God, like, this is it, right? I was crying, and then, you know, I told them that, you know, I feel very strongly about what you just said, and it gives me so much hope. और वो 2018 में January to May मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल गया था. मेरी बहुत ऑनलाइन harassment हुई थी. तो जब अक्टूबर में ये हुआ तो मैंने सोचा कि यार it just takes a few moments for things to change for you, right? Like if something really bad is happening, we shouldn't, I know it's hard at that time, but maybe we can try not to lose hope because something really great lies ahead. So yeah, I mean, that was, for me, it was an epic journey being part of the program. We learned a lot of things, obviously उसमें strategy wise भी और फिर emotional development wise भी उन्होंने हमारे साथ बहुत काम किया. They called us a couple of, like, there were 3 big conference type 5-day events जिसमें मैं गई. But then because during the events, the Facebook team learned a lot about me and my work, I also started consulting with them. So while they were building the Facebook groups, while they're building any other product on Facebook, they would call me for like 2 days or 3 days to the headquarters. And then, you know, I'd sit with their engineers, I'd sit with their team, and we'd help brainstorm ways that we could make the platform better for communities. So, that's, I mean, over time, I developed a very good relationship and a very good rapport with their team because I was able to contribute to the growth of, the platform.
That's so cool.
It was really great.
Yeah.
I think I just feel like very humbled कि मुझे ऐसा privilege मिला because, you know, it's not something that I'd ever dreamt of.
Yeah, I'm sure. It must have been very overwhelming especially because, you know, you doubt yourself so much to this point कि यार जो मैं कर रही हूँ वो किसी को समझ नहीं आती, बस आपको समझ आती है. And then Facebook understands, you know, and Facebook tells you that, you know, what you're doing, it is making a difference.
Bilkul.
And just, you know, getting to hear that and getting that acknowledgement,
Bilkul.
it's everything.
100%.
Yeah, and, you know, yeah, so I totally get it. फिर conversations with Kanwal.
Yeah. So Facebook का जो ये project, ये जो program था, like they were going to give us a grant. So a grant works, I know a lot of people don't know what a grant, how a grant works, because when it was announced कि Facebook $50,000 देगा तो, you know, a lot of people instantly assume कि अच्छा $50,000
कंवल को मिलेंगे.
हाँ, कंवल को मिलेंगे, अब तो इसका घर भी होगा, इसका तो महल होगा. A grant doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
A grant is a very heavily monitored amount of money.
Yeah.
उसके बहुत procedures होते हैं. आपको पहले तो एक proposal देना पड़ता है grant का. Even though Facebook ने हमें 50,000 का बोला था, but it was conditional on a proposal. तो पहले तो मैंने proposal दिया उनको कि मैं इसके लिए पैसे यूज़ करूँगी. और मेरा idea था एक show. I wanted to create a show where we could humanize social issues and, you know, struggles through the power of storytelling. तो इसका कुछ 12-13 पेज का प्रपोजल प्लस इसका एक फाइनेंशियल पूरा एक टेम्पलेट था, वो हमने भेजा, मैंने बना के. देन इट वाज अप्रूव्ड. इट टुक लाइक अ मंथ फॉर इट टू बी अप्रूव्ड. जब वो अप्रूव हुआ तो फिर वो लोग बैचेस में पैसे सेंड करते हैं. एंड देन दे गिव यू मोर मनी आफ्टर यू प्रूव्ड हाउ दैट मनी हैज़ बिन यूज्ड. एंड इफ इट्स बिन यूज्ड एंड देन यू ऑल्सो ऑब्वियसली साइन अ वेवर कि अगर वो लोग को रेफरेंस चेक करना है या कॉल कर ले उस पार्टी को जहाँ पैसे गए तो वो किस तरह होगा. So the entire breakdown was obviously had to be followed, and for me, I used it to produce the Conversations with Kanwal show. And obviously, for me, it was the first time I was going to develop a production of this level. So we got hold of a very good team. I had some people who had already been working with me in the past. And, you know, we just launched the show. And Humna, I have been dreaming of this show since 2016. मेरे साथ जो the girl who used to work with me, who still works with me, my project head, she had her बिल्कुल basic सा camera, and we even made a trailer. हम कल रात ही actually वो trailer बैठ के देख के हंस रहे थे कि ये था हमारा ख्वाब. And वो cute सा funny सा trailer था. Like, you know, you just imagine, like, आप जितना एक छोटे से कमरे में बैठ के बना सकते हैं वो हमने बनाया था. And then I used that trailer to pitch to various companies कि can you support me, I want to bring stories, I want to talk about people. एंड हर जगह से मुझे यही रिस्पॉन्स मिलता था कि भाई क्या फ़ायदा, कौन सुनेगा लोगों की कहानियाँ, किसको सुननी है नॉर्मल. एंड इवन बिग कंपनीज़ जिनके बाहर मुल्कों में बहुत ऐसे टॉपिक्स पे कॉन्वर्जेशंस और प्रोग्राम्स हो रहे हैं दैट आर वेरी हार्ट वार्मिंग, लेकिन पाकिस्तान में वो नहीं कर रहे थे, बात ही नहीं सुन रहे थे मेरी. और अच्छा आपके पास प्रूफ है कि आपको इसमें माइलेज मिलेगा. एंड आई वाज लाइक until we try it we won't know. And I know through the group that people do want to talk about this stuff. नहीं सुनी तो अब तो मेरे पास खुद के पैसे थे through the grant and I could use it. So when the show launched, the first episode got over 1 million views. And this was without the use of any external PR, without the use of any, I did not even need to reach out to people to spread the message. It instantly, like, everybody, including, big influencers like you, for me it was a big deal that everybody was talking about it because it touched them. It wasn't something कि मुझे बोलना पड़े कि यार प्लीज़ ज़रा मेरा
goosebumps होए हैं पता नहीं क्यों.
And when I saw your stories and other people online, and I was like agar these people, everybody out there, it's touched all of them. For us, we're so busy creating content कि हम पूरा वक्त बैठ के शेयर तो नहीं कर रहे होते ना. When something really hits home, that's when we take our time कि चलो we have to let our followers also know about it. So for me it was such a big deal. मुझे I remember जब मेरा वो वायरल जा रहा था एपिसोड, I was like this, अभी तो एक रिलीज हुआ है, अभी तो 11 और हैं, what's gonna happen. And then when we went, second episode also got 500,000 views. When we went to the third episode, within 24 hours it had already hit I think 2 million views or something. And it was just insane. मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि कैसे हुआ और क्या हुआ. And it was so funny because हम ना मेरा जो ना शर्ट फटा हुआ था उन एपिसोड्स में. कुछ एपिसोड्स में इतने पुराने मैंने कुर्ते पहने थे, मेरे पास वार्डरोब का ना बजट नहीं था बिकॉज वो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं प्रपोजल में इसको डालूँ कहाँ पे वार्डरोब का, जबकि वार्डरोब इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. लेकिन मैंने उस वक्त मेरे माइंड में ये बहुत ही लो प्रायोरिटी था. एंड आई एम नॉट द काइंड ऑफ पर्सन हु स्पेंड्स अ लॉट ऑफ मनी ऑन क्लोथ्स. सो लिटरली मेरे जब हमने कहा 12 एपिसोड थे तो 12 शर्ट्स लाने, तो उनमें से 1-2 फटे हुए भी थे. तो so and like I remember कि मेरे पास like I also just buy 2 pairs of shoes for like the year. तो मेरे चप्पल भी एक ही पेयर होता था और मैं हमेशा शुक्र करती थी कि जो ना नज़र नहीं आते, वो कट जाते हैं चप्पल भी. So फिर भी मुझे लोग मैसेज करते थे कि तुम्हारी जो ना वो तुमने अपने मेकअप का और बाल का कुछ नहीं किया, like तुमने you didn't have a makeup person, you didn't have a hair person. And I was like no I didn't. I would just wash my hair in the morning and then जैसे भी होते थे मैं कर लेती थी. Like it wasn't, मेरे लिए focus was my people and their stories. It wasn't about me. It was about the conversations we were having and the interaction. I was so focused on that everything else was not a priority. But that season it went great. Even for season 2 I was able to reach out to companies, and a couple of them, they came on board to support season 2. But when it came time for season 3, so I'm sure you know this as well, when you approach corporations or multinationals, it comes with baggage, right? You don't, like I did not want my conversations to be controlled. मुझे जो बातें करनी थी वो मुझे पता है कि वो लोग कहते नहीं आप इस टॉपिक पे नहीं करें, इस पे करें, इस पे नहीं करें, इस पे करें. And if I had to go down that route, I wouldn't have started my show in the first place.
What's the point?
What's the place? अच्छा आप एक तो मुझे याद है एक लॉन्ड्री का ब्रांड था and they were like कि आप इसमें कोई ऐसा सेगमेंट डालें जिसमें लॉन्ड्री का सेगमेंट डाल दें इसमें. मैंने कहा अच्छा, तो यानी हम इतनी सीरियस कॉन्वर्जेशन कर रहे हैं, वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट इमोशनल अब्यूज एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, और उसमें बीच में बोला अच्छा चले अब हमारे चड्डी बनियान फोल्ड करने का सेगमेंट आ गया, जो सबसे पहले करेगा वो जीत जाएगा. लाइक व्हाट राइट, लाइक आई, और फिर उस बात पे ये लोग ऑफेंड भी हो जाते हैं कि अच्छा इसको तो कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ ही नहीं करना, इसको तो हमारे साथ काम ही नहीं करना. आई डू वांट टू वर्क, and I will work, but we have to figure out mutually beneficial terms.
Yeah, not at the cost of the actual essence of what you're doing.
Bilkul.
You can figure out and meet halfway in a billion other ways.
And
without
other projects.
compromising on the actual thing that you're doing.
And I just wanted someone to like understand, you know, what I was saying and the fact that I can't censor things.
Yeah.
You know, अगर मुझे सेंसर करना होगा तो फिर मैं ये करूँगी नहीं, मैं कुछ और बना लूँगी. I'll make a fun thing. And fun things are great also. It's not like they're bad. It's just that was not
what
my
you're doing.
route. Yeah. फिर you know, like a lot of my community members since the entire year, they were like, you know, Kanwal, तुम crowdfunding क्यों नहीं करती? हम देंगे ना.
Especially because you have a community.
Yeah. And they were like कि हमें देखना है शो तो हम देंगे पैसे. चाहे मैं $1 दूँ, $5 दूँ या $100 दूँ, कुछ ना कुछ बन के तो हो जाएगा. And I was like, नहीं, crowdfunding पाकिस्तान में तो चलेगी नहीं.
ये पाकिस्तान में कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है.
कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है और कोई प्लेटफॉर्म्स भी नहीं है यहाँ पे अभी तक. And I was like, उसके अलावा लोग अंडरस्टैंड ही नहीं करेंगे कि क्यों.
और लोग कहेंगे हमसे क्यों पैसे ले रही है.
हमसे क्यों ले रही है हमसे. I was like, नहीं, I cannot do this. Then, you know, मैं इतने उस पे डेस्परेशन पे आ गई थी. डेस्परेशन के पॉइंट पे मैं सारे ब्रांड्स को भी रिजेक्ट कर रही थी. कि एक दिन मैं आई वॉज एक्सट्रीमली डिप्रेस्ड. आई वॉज सो सैड एंड दिस गर्ल मैसेज्ड मी कि तुम्हारा क्राउड फंडिंग का क्या हुआ, अभी तक तुमने लॉन्च नहीं किया. एंड आई वॉज लाइक नो. एंड शी वॉज लाइक, कंवल मुझे एक बात बताओ, व्हाट वैल्यू डू यू होल्ड योर सेल्फ टू, हाउ मच वैल्यू डू यू थिंक यू हैव इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस. मैंने कहा 0, मेरी कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. मैं लिटरली रो रही थी बैठ के. एंड शी वॉज लाइक, डू यू रियली थिंक कि तुम्हारी वैल्यू 0 है? मैंने तुम्हारे लिए $10,000 रखे हुए जिस दिन से तुमने अनाउंस किया था, जिस दिन से किसी ने लिखा था ग्रुप पे कि कंवल तुम क्राउड फंडिंग कर लो. तो मैंने सोचा था जब कंवल क्राउड फंडिंग स्टार्ट करेगी तो मैं अपने $10,000 कंवल को दूंगी, बिकॉज शी लिव्स इन वैंकूवर एंड यू नो. इसने कहा ये मेरा बजट था मार्केटिंग का फॉर इवेंट्स दैट आई स्पॉन्सर इन वैंकूवर. और मैंने सोचा था कि तब तुम क्राउड फंडिंग स्टार्ट करोगी तो मैं तुम्हें बोलूँगी एज अ स्मॉल बिजनेस आई एम गोना बी सपोर्टिंग यू, आई विल बी योर स्पॉन्सर. And I was like, you took out $10,000 for me? Like, मेरी इतनी औकात? And she was like, you don't understand how much value we have for you. तुम तो अपने हिसाब से सोच रही हो ना. देखो तुम स्टार्ट करके देखो, फिर तुम देखना आगे क्या होगा. एंड व्हेन आई स्पोक टू हर आई वाज लाइक, ठीक है ऐसा करें, आप क्राउड फंडिंग का लिंक शेयर करें, मैं नहीं कर रही क्योंकि मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा है. एंड शी वाज लाइक, ठीक है मुझे सेंड करो, मैं करती हूँ. और मैं सब आई विल ऑल्सो बी द फर्स्ट वन टू पुट द मनी इन. शी लिटरली, आई लॉन्च द कैंपेन, शी पुट द फर्स्ट 10K which was like I think around 20% of the total amount, and she posted it on SSP, and Humna within 6 days we were done. Literally लोगों ने $1 भी दिया है, एक लड़की ने $15,000 भी दिए हैं. बट अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह फॉर एवरीबडी who is rooting for me. मैं उनको जानती भी नहीं हूँ. I don't know them personally. And just the fact that they believed in me and they believe in my work and the impact, because you know, some of them wrote messages as well to me when they were putting the money, and then they said that they've seen Soul Sisters and Conversations with Kanwal change the way people around them think.
Yeah. So it was important for them.
Yeah, they were investing in that change.
Yeah. That's amazing. Because I would not expect people to take up crowdfunding like this in Pakistan. But see, that shows the power of your community and the impact that you've created enough for them to do this for you. You know. So बहुत अच्छी बात है. और अब आपका ये वाला crowdfunding के थ्रू सीजन आ रहा है, राइट? एंड दिस इज योर 3rd season.
या एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट इज कि मुझे इसमें किसी चीज़ की फिक्र करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ, किस टॉपिक पे बोल रही हूँ.
नो स्पॉन्सर कंट्रोलिंग द कॉन्वर्सेशंस.
एंड यू नो द कूल थिंग इज कि कुछ लोग जिन्होंने बड़े अमाउंट्स दिए हैं, दे हैव स्मॉलर बिजनेसेस. सो उसमें होता ये क्राउड फंडिंग में कि यू प्रॉमिस X amount of rewards for Y amount of money. तो मैंने भी इसी तरह से पूरा एक वो डिवाइस किया हुआ था, प्लान दैट पीपल वर फॉलोइंग. एंड उसमें जो कुछ लोग जिन्होंने बहुत बड़े अमाउंट्स दिए थे, they had all opted for the sponsorship option, even though they were running smaller businesses. Not huge MNCs, but good startups and small businesses and medium businesses. And, you know, so this show is going to basically say that they are, you know, the proud partners of this show. And the fact that these businesses had the guts to talk about the things that I'm going to talk about this season is incredible. It's something that other companies should learn from. आपको किस बात से डर है? आप जब उस एक society को एक product बेच रहे हो, तो why do you also not want to work towards creating important conversations and awareness in that society?
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Like,
true.
that's what I feel.
Yeah, so that's great. So now your group, Soul Sisters Pakistan, what is the business side of it?
So Soul Sisters Pakistan operates 3 different things. एक तो हमारे community events होते थे.
You mentioned those.
Yeah,
हाँ.
those were a source of monetization, of course. Lekin obviously because of the pandemic, we've stopped events since last year. Since this year actually, Feb में हमारा Canada में first event होने वाला था, वो रुक गया. Literally like a week before it was about to happen, Canada shut down हो गया. That's the primary source. I absolutely loved events because not only were they super impactful, but they also really helped us in terms of monetization. Here, the second way of incomes is through brand partnerships. We do like collaborations, live sessions, value-based partnerships where the brand contributes something to the community, like a trend or some sort of giveaways or some sort of sponsorships that are activations for them, but also really fun for the community to engage in.
Right.
Acha, uske alawa, the third thing that we did was merchandise. Merchandise mein, since like a couple of years ago, we did bracelets for people to recognize Soul Sisters in public spaces. Then we did T-shirts. We did hoodies. So, that's also one facet of the business that keeps running. But wo limited edition type cheezein hoti hain. It's not something that's constantly running. So, yeah, I think ye 3 ways hain.
Okay, that's cool. So, I think that's all I had to ask. But if there's anything you want to say.
Not really. I just think that I'm really proud of the way that, the digital community has been growing. And I know it's challenging for a lot of people out there. It's not going to be easy. हमें लगता है किसी creator या किसी, content creator किसी को देख के कह रही कितनी successful है या इतना successful है. But it takes a while to get there. It's not overnight. Nothing happens overnight, पहली बात तो. और दूसरी बात ये कि just be kind. Everybody is going through a growth process. Everybody is learning. A lot of us are not intrinsically evil people.
Yeah.
हमसे गलतियाँ होती हैं.
Most people are not intrinsically evil.
We're not evil. गलतियाँ होती हैं. I think the thing to look out for is did we learn from those mistakes or did we just keep doing them? Because when someone keeps doing something, then that means they're not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Or then you'd probably need to have a conversation with them and try to tell them that, look, this is not okay. This is not what we want you to do. This is not what we want to see. But at the same time, अगर किसी से एक दफ़ा गलती हो गई, 2 दफ़ा गलती हो गई, तो let it go and or talk to them about it and then let them fix themselves. वही बात है ना कि उनको भी unlearn करनी है बहुत सारी चीज़ें, उनको भी grow होना है, and we're able to grow through positive encouragement. At the same time, I feel like when we have space, even if we have 5 followers, we are hugely responsible for the way those followers are going to behave and the choices that they will make. So I feel like we really need to own that responsibility. And as somebody who's been around in this space for the last 1.5 decades, I feel like there are a lot of times when we don't utilize our responsibility well enough. And this is why I'm saying both ends need to work.
Yeah.
The audience as well as us. And of course, हमारी responsibility बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी है.
And it keeps growing.
बिल्कुल.
Like it just keeps growing.
Yeah, it keeps growing. And, with this entire pandemic and then with all the other financial obstacles that are happening, everything has a facet that we need to be responsible and aware of and make sure कि हम सही चीज़ communicate कर रहे हैं हमारी audiences को. So that, we don't hold the burden of somebody else getting misguided in the process of us finding ourselves or us doing our job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Before I end, I just want to ask कि वो उस ग्रुप का क्या हुआ?
कौन सा वाला? I just lost this यार वो अक्सर लोग पूछते हैं. A lot of people are pissed at me as well कि आपने वो बंद क्यों कर दिया. In fact, पिछले हफ्ते ही किसी ने लिखा था ग्रुप पे कि why did you close that group? इतना अच्छा था, इतना मज़ा आता था. And I'm like, I cannot run 2 groups. बंद बेचारा archived पड़ा हुआ है.
But it's interesting कि Soul Sisters came out of it came out of that group.
Yeah.
Basically कि यार ये साइड पे मैं एक चीज खोल लेती हूँ क्योंकि उस पे conversations distract हो रही हैं.
Yeah, it
Look
flipped.
what happened. Yeah, God works in mysterious ways.
Absolutely. हमें नहीं पता what we're destined for.
Yeah, वो बंद हो गया आज और ये चल रहा है full speed में.
मैं सोचती थी कि ये Soul Sisters तो like इस पे बातें करनी है जो करो मेरे मेकअप ग्रुप को कोई डिस्टर्ब ना करे.
Yeah. So and you were really passionate about makeup.
Yeah. I really वो मुझे लग रहा था बहुत अच्छे वे में चल रही है वो वाली. वो तो प्रॉपर बिजनेस थी ना.
तो मेकअप अब ठुड्डा हो गया लाइफ में भी. Because you learned the courses and everything.
Exactly. और मैं खुद भी अपने shows में भी इतना मैंने गंदा सा किया हुआ होता है that I don't think people know about the history that I do know how to do makeup.
Yeah, it's quite surprising. Yeah. That was something that you were so passionate about and knew so much about. But no, thank you so much.
No,
Kamal,
of course.
बहुत मजा आया
Thank you.
मुझे.
Same. मुझे पता ही नहीं चला कैसे टाइम गुजर गया.
हाँ, मुझे भी नहीं पता चला. I loved and enjoyed the conversation so much. I hope you all feel the same way as well. Thank you so much for tuning into Happy Chirp and see you next time. Allah Hafiz.